Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rekakadash. That's in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now, when you go into the second Maccabees, chapter 12, it's a short period of time in between when Judas Maccabees was given or was having covenants with some of the kings of the Grecians or the Edomites, and everything was kind of becoming peaceful with some of these Edomite governors, or at least one of them. And so while this was going on, some of the other Edomites heard about it, and they wanted to come against Judas, and they was finna tell the ones that the Edomites who did make a covenant with Judas that they need to break that covenant and come against him. And so before they did that, a situation happened in a place called Joppa. And in verse 3 it says, the men of Joppa also did such. This is in 2 Maccabees chapter 12 verse 3. The men of Joppa also did such an evil deed. They prayed the Jews that dwell among them to go with their wives and children into boats which they had prepared, as though they had meant them no harm. Verse 4. Who accepted of it according to their common decree of the city, as being desirous to live in peace and suspecting nothing. But when they were gone forth into the deep, they drowned no less than 200 of the Jews. So they drowned 200 of these people they was gonna take back to their homeland, pretty much. Take back to, I suppose, Jerusalem. And so that's what they did. They went to drowning the people, pretty much lying to them, telling them, oh, we at peace with y'all, and we gonna take y'all back to y'all homeland and all this kind of stuff. So in verse 5, it lets you know what happened after that. Judas went ham. Verse 5 say, when Judas heard of this cruelty done unto his countrymen, he commanded those that were with him to make them ready. You see, because this during the time of the Grecians, when the Grecians had a mighty stronghold over the whole world, pretty much, and Judas had gathered up some men of his nation who believed in the customs and the laws of his people and wanted to serve their God. They was holding Jerusalem down and keeping the enemy out of there, because he went in there and took all of the idols and the altars that they had built, and he cleaned it out. And so he said, so these was all Jews that was living in these other places, and the people was trying to take them back to Jerusalem, or where their people was. So he said, he commanded those that were with him to make them ready. He pretty much, Judas told all of his brethren and the guys who fought in the military to be ready, because it's finna go down. Verse 6, he say, and calling upon God the righteous judge, he came against those murderers of his brethren and burnt the haven by night, and set the boats on fire, and those that fled thither he slew. So, first of all, Judas would always petition the Most High and beg him to either send him an angel, or he'll beg him to help him destroy his enemies. You see, and he would do this almost every time. So when you go to verse 7, it say, and when the town was shut up, he went backward as if he would return to root out all them of the city of Joppa. Okay, so he pretty much, once he burnt everything and slew the people that was around, he went back through the city and made sure that all of them was gone out of that city. But verse 80 say, but when he heard that the Jamnites were minded to do in like manner unto the Jews that dwell among them. So the Jamites was always doing this to the Jews. Verse 9, he say, he came upon the Jamites also by night, and set fire of the haven and their navy, so that the light of the fire was seen at Jerusalem 240 furlongs off. So he wanted the battle to be seen all the way from Jerusalem, from a far distance. The light of they city burning. That sounds like Babylon in Revelation 18. They stood afar off, seeing the smoke of her burning. See, he wanted them to see the smoke of that place burning, because this is something they would do. They was doing on a regular basis, or they did it multiple times. Verse 10, 2 Maccabees chapter 12. Now when they were gone from thence 9 furlongs into the journey toward Timothus, no fewer than 5,000 men on foot and 400 horsemen of the Arabians set upon him. Okay, so this is when after he got done with these Jamnites, he went into a whole nother battle. So that was pretty much the end of that, because he had them destroyed the city, went back into the city to see if anybody was left, to root out everybody of the city. So they wasn't gonna be drowning no more Jews or Israelites, as long as Judas was on the scene. And especially after he heard of the cruelty that they did by lying to these men, women, and children and drowning them in the middle of in the deep of the water. But so let me get a verse out of let's see here. And this was always going on with the Israelites. Always was going on with the Israelites. When you go to Psalms 83, it says, Psalms 83 verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden one. Verse 4, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. See, all the nations are against the Israelites. And so they always come up with some scheme to try to get rid of Jacob. That's why it asks in Psalms 2, why do the heathen rage? Because they mad that they are not the chosen. And they got to really serve these Israelites one day, and they was undefeatable. So